Good evening to everyone. Thank you for taking the time and staying here. I know it's quite a long evening. I wanted to give some updates on the Rate A program, the Community Empowerment Fund, as well as agriculture, and also some things within the district as an at-large rep that I have seen. Some of you have reached out to me, and I've put to the district rep, the Minister of Finance, and also the Minister of Communications to look into as well. So with the rated program, this program started in this district. And like many great things, things start in this district. I have been working in this district for over 20 years. So I have seen some of the transitions in this district. I've seen the road right out here, the suffering that we've had with the road, with sewage. We can see that road has been fixed. With the rated program, the majority of it that the public sees is landscaping on the side, which is roadside clearing, which is bush. We are looking to restart that element of the project shortly. However, we must understand that when you look at this project or this initiative, there are over 500 applications nationwide. And as the lady said earlier, sometimes other people need to get a chance. And I've noticed with the program that some people are not being given a chance, but I also do not want to take away the opportunity from those who have been doing it. So we're going to have to take a look at the project going forward to make sure it's fair and to also make sure that the community as a whole does not just see it as men and women in the street cutting bush, but rather look at people who are waking up, coming out, and providing a service for our community. So I want to put some things in place into Rated where it feels more like a job and our community actually embraces the men and women who go out there and do what is necessary. Because when we're traversing the road, the first thing we want to say is, why is the bush touching our vehicles? And in order for that to be put under control, we have to do more than just cut it. We have to look at what is going on there, how do we control it, how do we actually make it something like that. And with the men and the women walking there, we want to provide some training for them, whether it's how to repair their weed eaters, when it comes to looking at different types of vegetation, different things to make sure that when they walk away, they feel valued and they have new skills. So that's some work. Also within the Rated program, there is the apprenticeship part of it, which looks for placement within the public service. We're going to start looking at that again. Right now, presently, there are only 4 applications, which means that there's some work that needs to be done in that. One of the reasons I was late this evening is because, as you guys know, I still work at YEP, and YEP has a program within it for workforce placement for high school students. So within the Rated program, there's also an apprenticeship part of it that will take people and place them in the private sector. There are many persons in this room that may be in the private sector, and you may be willing to pass down a skill. I know there's a gentleman in the BVI right now who does upholstery. There's no one working with him, and you heard the minister talk about some of these fields. Maybe they're not as attractive, but there are people who may be interested in them. There's some men in this room I know who drive trucks. There's some young people who may want to learn this. They may want to learn how to operate heavy equipment. We have to be able to partner with businesses and give them the opportunity to learn these things. And the Rated program has that element, and I want to make sure that enough is given to it and people are given an opportunity to get involved and to find a career path. Now, there was a talk that was mentioned, a very valid point about the community being a strong community and getting involved. So the Premier has started a Community Empowerment Fund, which basically looks at the social concerns in our community. Eastern, Longlook, the 7th and 8th district has a strong presence when it comes to churches. There are a lot of elders in the room and families who've done a lot in our community, whether it's our cultural activities, whether it's our social activities, taking care of the fabric of the community. And this fund actually will allow for nonprofit organizations and also community organizations through nonprofit organizations to apply for grants. So for example, I can recall when I was teaching at Altius Catliff, there was softball on the field. The Minister of Education has mentioned that the schools will have equipment, but there are active softball entities in this community like the Potters who've been doing that for many years. So if that's something you want to do, then perhaps we need to, you should consider applying for one of these grants when they become available to start back some of the activities in the communities that used to happen. I'm also hoping that some of you in here who have bountiful gardens may decide to apply for a community grant, maybe to train or teach people in the community so that we can create a community garden within this community. So there are a lot of things within that grant that can give opportunities to empower this community on a higher level. In terms of agriculture, the Premier has asked me to work with the Deputy Speaker to look at agriculture and the agricultural fair. So there will be some announcements coming. We're looking at shifting the fair from Paraquita Bay and carrying it in to Rotown behind the administration complex. It would be on days when we have cruise ships coming in to try to give a different approach to bring in different people to have a look at, yes, our culture, our products, and also to recognize people who've had longevity in agriculture, but also people who are now doing more innovative things within it. So it's going to be a blending coming together. And if there's anyone in the room that wants to, we're trying to put together some sensible prizes for the farmers and the fishers who would be involved in that. Lastly, I've been talking to the Premier and the Minister of Communications and Works, and I want to address the resident in the back. I know her name, but I didn't know she wanted to identify herself, who spoke about the road access for Josiah's Bay. I did mention to them just now, I didn't have a chance to do it before. As far as I was told, there is a road coming from Kutin Bay through the 5th District that was actually cleared sometime back, coming from the 5th District down into Josiah's Bay. And I'm going to ask my colleagues to please look at that, because I understand the importance of that. There's also a road in Paraquita Bay that goes straight up through the middle of it that goes into Springott. And I know many residents in the area have land up there, and I understand the importance of access to land whether for building or land for agricultural purposes. And I want to stand here today and say that I think that we have to invest in creating more roads. I did make a statement in the House I think 2 years ago, about building new roads. And I'm not talking about paving them. I'm talking about initially just clearing them and giving access, because we've noticed sometimes an accident happens in our community and we cannot make it to town, we cannot make it out of the community, and those are things that we must address. I'll stop there. If there's any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you very much.